Hey everybody, Thomas here, and today I have to get this log along with, there's 3 other logs right over there. I need to get this cut up. This is, if you listen to my last video, this is the logs from the gentleman who dropped them off with a dump truck a few weeks back. This log right here is massive. It's over 24-inch diameter on this end and 20-inch diameter on the other side. It's 19'6" long, and the tractor cannot pick it up. So I'm going to show how I use the tractor to load a log in which the tractor cannot pick it up. So step 1, and I did I did a pretty good job, I guess, getting all the stuff out of the way. There's a few little sticks and stuff over there. Shouldn't be too bad of an issue, but for the most part, I'm going to first start by pushing it with the box blade, rolling it all the way back over there. Then I'm going to use the loaders from the actual sawmill to load it onto the deck. And again, loaders from sawmill will lift 5,000 pounds. Tractor will lift roughly about 3,000 pounds. This log is somewhere probably in the 35 to 4,000 pound range, 3,500 to 4,000 pounds. So we'll see. So I'm going to put on a time lapse just because it's going to take a few minutes to do this, and I'll readjust the camera angle as I get closer, and you can see this from start to finish. So here we go. All right, folks, that went pretty well. Had to give it a little assist there at the very end just to roll it on there. I could have used cant hook, but I was right there and I was trying to go as gentle as possible. So it looked like I was putting a lot of strain onto that. Really, I was trying to throttle the strain so I didn't make that thing hit so hard on these log stops over here. But I was actually wrong on the tail of the tape. So 19'6", I know that measurement is true. This is 28 by 29, and on the other side, it's 24 all the way around. So this is a behemoth. I'll see if I can throw in some numbers on here, but that's a big one. This actually is probably bigger than the other pine log that I posted the other day, about maybe a month ago, saying the largest pine log I've cut on the mill to date. Well, this one right here probably takes the cake. And I do have some room, so show you how close I am here. So I have about, I don't know, 8-10 inches or so of clearance there. And on this side, again, I've got the head slightly forward, so I've got about 6 inches there and probably another few inches over there too, 6 or so. So again, rather large log, and on a log of this size, you don't really need to worry about your log dog on this side. Really, the log turner can more than easily hold it in place because the sheer mass of this thing, and all you do is just slightly lift up on that where it pushes up against the log stops. But yeah, 2x8s. The goal is 2x8s. So what I'm going to be looking to do is, because I know my other dimensions, now this side here is plenty big, but on the other side I'd be hard pressed to get anything larger than a 16 by 16 on the other side. But I think I can get a 16 by something greater than a 16. And again, on that 16-inch cant, I will cut it in half and get 2 8 by whatever cants, and then throw the computer on and start slabbing away. So I'm going to get quite a few 2x8s out of here. I don't actually know the number from the customer. He just said, get me the most 2x8s you can. And this being the largest of the 3 logs. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, this is all out of one tree. There's 3 logs, this being the bottom section. So obviously the next section will start at 24 inches and probably neck down to somewhere in the neighborhood of 16, 15. And then from there down, it'll probably be 15 down to 12 or something like that. Just guessing, but 3 log sections, straight as a whistle, pine, big tree. So yeah, it's time to start cutting big pine. Probably the biggest one I have so far on the mill. So stay tuned, here we go. All right, so I'm gonna have to put on a time lapse here. This will be kind of slow going. And then, I don't know why, but right here next to the sawmill, I've got a nice little fire going. I just wanted to get rid of some of these sticks here. These are some leftovers from the storm, so Nice little fire. I can't put my camera in the normal place over there because, as you can see, the heat waves kind of going by. It's far enough away from the sawmill, but it's not too far. So I'm going to actually have the camera from the angle over here. I've done this angle a few times. It's actually worked out pretty well. We'll have the time lapse going by, so you'll see the head going by quite a lot, and you'll see a whole lot of turning of the log. I'm going to have to just kind of piecemeal this down. Again, the goal is 16 by something greater than 16 cant-wise squared up. And then from there, we'll cut the 16-inch section in half. We'll get us 2 8 by whatever cants, and then we'll put the computer to the test, cutting true 2 inches. The goal is 2 by 8s, so as many as we can get at 18 foot. So we'll have about 1.5 foot of extra on here, and I think this is gonna be a fun one. So the blade I have on there right now has been sharpened many a times. So what I'm going to do is actually just do my outside cuts with this. I don't really want to start doing my 20+ inch wide cuts with an old blade like this. I'll actually put on a new blade, and then we'll start going through with that. So without further ado, here we go. I'll have to move the kids out of the way and put them inside and watch some TV while I go do this. Here we go. Alright folks, so right now we have a 17¼ by 19¼ or roughly it's a 17 by 19 cant by, again, 19½ foot long. Now I just rotated the log 180, so the last cut you saw, it's cutting on the bottom here. Now I'm going to cut 1 inch down so I can get my 16 inches, and then I'm going to go ahead and slice this thing in the middle. And again, we have 19 inches here. So really, I should be able to get, I don't know, maybe 9 for each side, because if you take that 19 and you calculate in the curve of the blade, because it does it on the computer, I should have enough to get a total of 18 2 by 8s by 19.6 out of this. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead. I'm not going to show this next 1 inch cut and everything, but what I'll do is I'll show the cutting of the entirety of this log in half, because that is kind of a crazy cut. Now there's a few things that could happen. The worst thing to happen is if your log starts opening up in the center, because what that does is it causes a point load at either end of the log. And when that's the case, when you're doing a point load in either end, you're coming through this right here, that last little section, as that blade's trying to come through there, it will actually load up on the blade, and you can definitely hear it on the engine, and it will, sometimes if you don't have your log stops up, it will take this top board and try to throw it off to the side. So I hate when logs do that, but I feel pretty confident that at 8 inches thick and at this length, I don't think it's going to bow up. I mean, they could prove me wrong, so I better not talk anymore. But long story short, we're going to go ahead and cut this 1 inch off. You won't see that. What you'll see is I'll do a video when we're cutting, I'll do it real time when we're cutting the half mark. So right here at the 8 inch mark. Now, based on what I'm looking here, I think I'm going to come just slightly below the pith at my halfway point, which is fine. I mean, this pith actually translates to the log at slight angle. And for what these are being used for, not really an issue. So here we go. All right. So hopefully my battery will hold out. What I did is I cut this at 16 1/16, which should account for most of the curve of the blade. Then I'm going to go ahead and end at the 8 inch mark, and start cutting through this. So this is gonna be a heck of a cut because I'm cutting 8 inches down, and then I also have 19 inches wide I'll be cutting through. So this will separate the little mills from the big mills. We'll see how she plays. Now I'm gonna go kind of slow. I don't want to over torque this blade. And then once I do get this, I'm not going to actually cut both of the cants that come out of this at one time. I'm going to cut one at a time, only because I'll cut a lot faster and it'll just make the job easier. So without further ado, here we go. Give me a second to get the water and everything set up and we'll be cutting. those are some massive cants. I'll have to little show what it looks like. Over here. Monstrosity of cants. Blade was cutting good. Look at that. That's just crazy. I mean, those are some pretty big cants. And again, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and take this crap right here, get to the fire pile, and I'll cut one of these at a time because I will be able to absolutely fly through this. The only problem is I'm kind of running out a little bit of daylight. I did promise the kids, I said if they got this all cleaned up right here and burnt down, that I would take them out for ice cream tonight. So I may only get one of these cut up before I got to get them out to the local ice cream parlor, but yeah, we'll see. All right, so I might conclude this video with some more time-lapse stuff, but for the most part I just wanted to show the cutting, loading, and all that stuff of this massive pine log. Yeah, I'll do some more time lapse, and how about this? I'll finish up with pictures or something like that of the actual finished product of this wood. So yeah, stand by, here we go. All right, so while I was cutting this, I did hear some weird stuff about this section of the log, and it makes sense. That's where all the lighter section is. Oh my goodness, look at all that. This right here is straight up lighter. I mean, hard as a rock, strong smelling, but check out the grain on this. This is mostly all quarter sawn with the exception of course, the pith there. But, isn't that awesome? You wouldn't think that pine could really, you know, with like hold within it beauty like this, but this is just gorgeous stuff. Wouldn't you like to have this as a beam in your house? This right here, again, let me back up. This is a 19 by 8 by 19 and a half foot long cant. Now that could be a beam in a house, but my goodness, that's just a monstrosity. And then the matching one, I went ahead and put it over here. Now I have not, of course, cleaned off all the sap. Even this one, it was pretty amazing. I had my forks in the center and it would not lift up correctly. So then I moved my forks about a foot off center to this direction, and it still was heavy on this end. Now this is the butt section of the log. This is a good example to show what it's all about. What it was is all that sap and everything kind of forms and sticks down here at the bottom. So I would say, just rough estimate, I'm just completely throwing numbers out there. If you would split this log about where this, I guess, lighter knot section, everything would be about the center of mass. I mean, it is that far off. I'm saying this side right here is a good, you know, a lot less actually weight than this just hunking heavy lighter filled section. So pretty neat though. I mean, it was interesting getting off the mill. I kind of wish I'd filmed that, but it is what it is. And again, I am running out of light, so I gotta stick with what I got and go from there. So what I'll do is, for the video, I'm only do a time lapse of cutting up one of these, and then I'll be able to display probably on this pile of wood right here or something like that. Just something, heck, I don't even know if I can do that. I mean, these things are 18 foot long, so maybe I'll have to clear out some stuff over there. Yeah, I'll clear out some stuff over there and set these up. All right, so let me cut these real quick, and here we go. So my phone literally got down to 3%. I had to have my daughter bring it back inside just momentarily for me to get enough charge to do this last bit of video. So what I did is I went ahead and set these boards up. This is one way I like to dry boards without having swept them. So I can leave them like this. They will dry a little bit, so whenever we actually go to and start moving these boards around, it'll knock that sawdust off. So I think he'll be very happy with these. And when I was talking about quarter sawn, this pretty much is quarter sawn pine. It looks really great and everything. You can see this large lighter section that came through there. So especially in these boards right here, I mean, holy cow, like these two right here, I mean, that's like hard. I feel sorry for the man who has to try to lift these suckers up into the air. I don't know the weight on these things, but my goodness, they are heavy. Heavy, heavy, heavy. So that's the first 9. The other cant, I just put it back onto the mill. That'll give me another 9 there. So 18 of these will be ready for the customer tomorrow. And then I have, again, I've got 2 more logs of his right there, and I'll get to those maybe tomorrow. Those will cut a lot faster. When you start cutting the big ones like this, it's just slow. I mean, it's so big and massive, and I charge by the board foot. Maybe I should probably charge by the hour on the big ones because they are just so massive, but you know, it is what it is, and that's how I roll. So again, looking at the end grain here, you can tell these ones I will call quarter sawn, quarter sawn, quarter sawn, riff sawn, riff sawn, plain sawn, plain, and riff sawn, riff, and riff to quarter. So yeah, pretty happy with the way these look. Nice straight boards. The blade was cutting great once I changed it out. Just getting the log to the cant section, it was just hard. But all right, fun. More to follow, and we'll see you around. Again, thanks for all the subscriptions, and looking forward to the Timberking Sawmill Show 24 October up in Cedar Grove, Tennessee. If you'd like to meet us up there, talk about woodworking, sawmills, whatever, you can contact me either through my email, which I can put down below, or contact the folks at Timberking. They'll give you all the information on how to get there and times. The times, I think it's 9 to 3, or 8 to 3, 9 or 8 to 3. We'll see. Look forward. It's gonna be fun by all. So again, it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it. We've got some cool things that we'll be giving out to folks. So if you're the furthest one driving, you're gonna be getting something. So yeah, stand by, and we'll see you around. Thanks. Bye.